Hey everybody, welcome back to the Doggone Positive Way. This is part 2 of What is a Service Dog with my dear friend Barb. I hope you enjoy. Please like, share, and subscribe. Tell your friends and have a doggone positive day. Bye.
And when I went back to the Verizon store, I said, why do you guys, allow that in your store? Because even if a dog is a service dog and they impose a threat to another dog or another people, they can legally ask the person to leave. And they
Right.
said, well, we don't want to get sued. And the thing, so, you know,
Really?
they'd rather let this, what I view as a dangerous dog in their
Right.
establishment.
Right.
Um,
Exactly. Even like, hang on a second. Yeah, even if, I don't know, can you see this, Barb? Can you see
yeah,
what I pulled
I
up?
can't really read it, but I can see it up there.
There's something there. Okay. Well, I pulled this up. This is ada.gov, and this is under their resource section under service animals. And the definition, I'm just going to read this so people know. And then we're going to go back to your story because I know you had another problem too. But what is a service animal? Under the ADA, a service animal is defined as a dog that has been individually trained to do work or perform tasks for an individual with a disability. The tasks performed by a dog must be directly related to the person's disability. So for example, I'll just use myself as an example, but something that you had mentioned that your dogs have done for you, do for you is if you drop something, they can pick it up for you
Right.
there. That's enough. Um, and then it goes question 2, what does do work or perform tasks mean? So they're really defining that for people. Um, The dog must be trained to take a specific action when needed to assist the person with a disability. For example, a person with diabetes may have a dog that is trained to alert that person when their blood sugar reaches a high or low levels. A person with depression may have a dog that is trained to remind her to take her medication. A person who has epilepsy may have a dog that is trained to detect the onset of a seizure and then help the person remain safe during a seizure. Then our favorite question is question number 3. What are emotional support, therapy, comfort, or companion animals considered? Service, I'm sorry, I read that wrong. Are emotional support, therapy, comfort, or companion animals considered service animals under the ADA? No, they're like, no. The terms are used to describe animals that provide comfort just by being with the person because they have not been trained to perform a specific task or job. They do not qualify as a service animal under the ADA. However, some states or local governments have laws that allow people to take emotional support animals into public places. You may check with your state and local government agencies to find out about those laws. I had looked this up. I don't have it here now, but I don't think Florida has that law. And honestly, it's like, I feel like there should be some type of regulation for this. Like, I feel like it's too broad. Just
Well, all the laws on the ADA are federal,
Mhm.
so federal laws trump state laws.
Correct. They do. They absolutely do. But you and I both know that people are going to try and squirm around and find some kind of what they think is a loophole. One of the things we had talked about was that there is an ad that is on my social media on YouTube specifically that is for emotional support animals. And
Yes.
they're like, call this number, talk to a doctor, and get your emotional support dog, your dog certified as an emotional support dog, blah, blah, blah. Get this and that. And we were talking about how it's total ripoff for these people because there's nothing behind it legally.
And also, they probably don't realize it, so they're thinking they're in the right, and
Absolutely. It's not fair.
but also they like they shouldn't. I think that the social media sites and everything, and um especially Amazon, I'm sorry, but they sell, what, service dog like jackets, so people can go online, get a jacket that says service dog, and what are you supposed to do? One of my pet peeves is I see so many dogs in grocery carts when I'm at the store, and to me it's disgusting. People have to put their food in there.
Yeah, exactly. Like, how sanitary is that if your dog's butt
Yeah,
and stuff
exactly.
is in where, plus I just, that to me, they're like, I have a small dog, so I'm going to stick him in my purse and take him
Yeah.
in, whatever, I feel like, um, that makes things harder for people who have a real bona fide service animal, whether it's a big service animal or a small service animal, isn't
Yeah, one of the things we
really
were
the point.
talking about one of the things we were talking about is when I went into a red, actually I think it was an Olive Garden. I went into an Olive Garden, and I was sitting there, and there was a little dog with a couple. The dog would not settle down, kept barking continuously, and I had to be moved to the back of the restaurant
That's
because
so
the other
crazy.
dog wouldn't settle down.
So, okay, so this is a dog, a small dog that an elderly couple has in a restaurant. Was it in a crate? Was it just sitting on the chair at the
It
table?
it was he was just standing, and he wasn't under the table like Bogo is trained. When I go in a restaurant, he's supposed to go under the table or beside me, and he's supposed to stay there
Right.
quiet as a mouse. one of
Exactly.
the one of the biggest compliments I get is when people say, "Wow, I didn't even know there was a dog in here."
Exactly.
And that's how it should be.
And 100%. Yep, 100%. Um, I want to go back to your other story about the Verizon store, and then I'm
Uh-huh.
going to go back to we'll go back to Olive Garden. Which one was the most recent?
It was the most recent was Olive Garden.
All right, let's just talk about that. So this was a dog that is just like their home, standing at the table next to one of their chairs, probably
Yes.
begging, I'm thinking. And I feel like, people look at the dog or whatever and they're blaming the dog, but it's the people.
Right.
It's
Right.
the fucking people who have this. First of all, I think it's really narcissistic to
They
think
think
that,
they're entitled,
yeah,
and
you bring your dog in anywhere because it's small or just because.
I've been in restaurants before where a guy came up to me and said, "Can they meet? He's friendly." I said, "Absolutely not." and the guy looked at me with anger on his face.
I know.
You know,
Like, how could you?
I said, my dog is a service dog and he's trained not to interact with other dogs. So,
Right.
and one time I was actually in the mall and I heard a dog growl at a little child. And I just said out loud with my voice, that dog should not be in this mall. And
Exactly.
she, the woman found me, and
Oh, yeah.
she had someone disabled. Her daughter had a disability, but her daughter wasn't interacting with the dog, and she's like, "Well, we had to get our air condition fixed," and I mean, people use the worst excuses.
Then stay in your car.
Exactly, with the air
Or
conditioner
go to
on.
a friend's house, but don't go to the freaking mall or to a restaurant or like I totally get that. I mean, I've rented places where I've had to bomb it a couple times, like when I first moved down here, and I stayed in the yard in the air conditioning with all the dogs and the chinchillas and the birds thing, and like with air conditioning for like 4 or 5 hours, however long it is you have to stay out of the house. But it's like you have to do what you do. Like, what are we going to do, go to the mall? No. But
And
yeah.
not to mention the dog was dirty, like had dirt on him. His
Right.
feet were, and I mean that's another thing. Like I make sure he looks top notch.
Doesn't smell.
I yeah, never. He will never smell. He doesn't have fleas. Because I take care of it.
Exactly. Like, you're a very responsible dog owner. Hey everybody, I hope you enjoyed part 2 of What is a Service Dog with my dear friend Barb. Tune in next week. You're going to get part 3. This was a long episode. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Leave a review. Thank you. Have a doggone positive day. Bye.